Training camp day 9 is in the books, and we had probably the best catch of all of training camp practices. We got no Brock Purdy today, which means we got a lot of Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, and Brandon Allen. As the 49ers get ready for a break tomorrow, we are going to discuss everything that went down at San Francisco 49ers training camp today. But before we get into it, you already know what to do. Drop a SDS in the chat, smash that like button, and let's get into it. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What's going down, gang? The San Francisco 49ers wrap up their 9th day of San Francisco 49ers training camp, and they go into a break tomorrow, and then they come back together for Monday for their final training camp practice on Dwight Clark Day, and then it's off to Las Vegas to play the not Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders in joint practices. Early reports out of Raiders training camp. Jimmy Garoppolo throwing a lot of interceptions. So it might be a field day for the San Francisco 49ers defense when they square off in joint practices next week. But the reason why I am kind of speaking about joint practices that happened next week is because it felt like today's energy, you go through a long work week and you're grinding away, and you get till Friday and you just kind of pop it into neutral and you just kind of float through your Friday trying to get to the weekend. That's exactly what today felt like with the 49ers practice. It was definitely it was the least intensive practice of all the training camp practices so far. Definitely, that's one thing about football, like being someone who played football. Each practice has its own type of energy. Some days the energy's through the roof. Some days you're dragging as a team. It's crazy. Today was one of those days where it's just kind of dragging. The energy was definitely down. Not a huge sense of urgency. Not a ton of physicality or things like that. But we got some good stuff. We definitely got some good stuff. So obviously, we're going to talk about the quarterbacks. I really do think today was more about the quarterbacks than anything else. We also have had some other standouts, of course, and all that type of stuff. But I do want to talk about the best catch of all of training camp that happened today. None other than by wide receiver Willie Snead. Snead coming down with the snag of training camp. Definitely didn't have that on my bingo card, but this was it. The 49ers posted this video to their Instagram just to show like how difficult this catch was for Willie Snead. Willie Snead basically had to wrap around Samuel Womack, reach out one arm, get his hand on the ball, and then bring it in. This was a crazy catch. It really was, because from my vantage point, when I was watching the ball through the air, it felt like an incompletion. It felt like it was short. It felt like it, and Samuel Womack was in such tight coverage that in my head, I'm like, this is an incompletion. Phenomenal job by Willie Snead to wrap around Womack, reach out his arm behind Womack, somehow get his hand on the ball and bring it in. Fantastic. Again, people were asking like, well, why aren't you hyping up Trey on the throw? Part of it is that the placement kind of the placement of the ball is why the catch was so crazy. It wasn't the ideal placement. You obviously don't want your wide receiver fighting through a defender to try to catch a football. It's the same argument that people were making for the Brock Purdy deep ball yesterday, where George Kittle kind of had to come back towards the football. It's eerily similar type throws by both quarterbacks, where the receiver on the play had to actually come back to the ball and make a phenomenal play. So Willie Snead deserves a ton of credit on this particular throw because, again, fighting through a defender to make a catch is not an easy task, especially with Samuel Womack completely draped all over him. It's pretty wild. It was a great catch, absolutely phenomenal. Take a look really quickly. I got to go grab my notebook. I mean, today is clearly going to be a very intimate setting. I think we got like 22 people on YouTube. We got 46 total from Facebook checking in. So we got a very intimate group setting today. It's Saturday. I'm sure a lot of people have much better things to do than to listen to me talk about football practice. But I'm going to go grab my notebook really quick and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere because we got quarterbacks to talk. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Let's get into it, shall we? So today, uh, the question was, were we going to see Brock Purdy practicing today? And the answer was no. He warmed up in street clothes, but he did not practice. So we got a heavy dosage of Trey Lance, Brandon Allen, and of course Sam Darnold. So Kyle pulled a little fast one on us. It was Trey Lance who ran out there, who started the walkthrough period with the ones. And then after that, the first team period, the actual first quarterback up with the ones was Sam Darnold. So it wasn't Trey Lance to start the first team period, but as expected, Trey Lance and Sam Darnold rotated with the ones. And today was the first day. I know a lot of the reason why I know this because a lot of people have made made it a point to talk about how Trey Lance hasn't played with Christian McCaffrey. So today was the first day that we got Trey Lance playing with Christian McCaffrey. And they did connect, and I'll talk about that connection in a second, but it wasn't Trey to start. It was Sam Darnold. So Sam Darnold was the first quarterback out for the San Francisco 49ers. And to be honest, it wasn't a great day for the quarterbacks in general. I mean, I think it was a day where you can make the argument that Brandon Allen had just as good of a day as Sam Darnold and Trey Lance. And I think when you look at this quarterback two competition, today felt like a perfect day for one of these two guys to run away with that kind of quarterback to lock. You know what I mean? Like it really felt like Trey Lance could have had an opportunity to kind of bury Sam Darnold a little bit and vice versa. It felt like there was an opportunity for Sam Darnold to come out and bury Trey Lance because, to be honest, these guys have been pretty even throughout the first 9 days of training camp. Sam has had his days. Trey has had his days. They both have ups. They both have downs. They're both working on certain things within their games. So today, with no Brock in the mix, who again I spoke about, I thought he was the better quarterback on the day yesterday, specifically for how he moved the ball and moved the team. Period. I mean the offense looked like it was just humming yesterday with Brock Purdy under center. And so I felt like I'm like, okay, no Brock today. So this feels like a great opportunity for Trey Lance or Sam Darnold to really blow out the other one in this competition. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. It really didn't. In fact, they were both kind of mediocre on the day. It was one of their least inspiring performances of the day because we've seen practices where both Sam and Trey have been cooking, and that wasn't today. It just wasn't today. I've seen better practice from both of them. They both had, Sam Darnold had two under. They both struggled with the deep ball. Um, I tweeted it out, uh, and I said today was the Willie Snead practice because obviously I already showed you the clip of Willie Snead's circus catch, but he had the other longest play of the day for a touchdown as well from Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen on the day had the best deep ball throw out of any quarterback. In fact, it might have been the best deep ball that we've seen all training camp because Brock Purdy has really been the only one who's been pushing it downfield consistently. And when I say pushing it downfield, like 45 plus, taking those shots. The other guys they've gotten to about as deep as 35, but there really hasn't been anyone who's pushed the ball past 45. And today, Brandon Allen uncorked one, put it right in the bucket. Willie Snead was like we've been all this Twitter conversation of where the ball placement should be, this, that, the ball needs to be here. This needs to be a better throw, underthrown, overthrown. Guess who came out and threw the best deep ball today? It was Brandon Allen. And he put it right in the bucket in stride. Willie Snead to the house for if it's like 60, 70 yards. It was the Willie Snead practice today. 2 touchdowns on the day for Willie Snead in team period. Best catch of the day and the longest play of the day goes to Willie Snead. So it's the Willie Snead practice. Whoo! Whoo! Something about those bubbles. Those bubbles hit different. Woo! Something about those bubbles hit different. But so again, I'm mildly disappointed today, to be honest. And that might be to my own doing. It just might be because I had higher expectations for this quarterback competition. I really felt like today, no Brock. Okay, Brock's out the way. You're going to get first team reps. Trey's going to run with the ones. Sam's going to run with the ones. That seems like a perfect opportunity to be at your best. And somehow Brandon Allen felt like the most efficient, complete quarterback on the day. Somehow. Sam Darnold had two really bad misses. Two really bad misses on deep balls. So we got everyone throwing deep today, but Brandon Allen was the only one with the quality deep ball. Darnold underthrew Ray McCloud down the left sideline. Ray tried to turn his back towards it, but again, it allowed a defender to run under it, pass deflection, ball falls incomplete. The worst one was to Brandon Ayuk, where Brandon Ayuk, it was like a deep, I don't know, like a deep post. And Sam uncorked this thing, man. He just he corked it and or uncorked it, I should say. Woo! BA Brandon Ayuk probably had 3 or 4 steps on the cornerback, just absolutely wide open, and the ball just hung up to the point where Brandon actually had to stop running, and then the DB just, ate up all that ground that Brandon had, and incomplete. So not good on those deep throws. Trey Lance on deep throws today. He attempted to hit Deebo Samuel, but he overthrew it by about 5 yards. He also had an underthrow to Juwan Jennings on I don't know, kind of deep out as well. It was a throw where cornerback's in the back hip pocket. He's angling towards the sideline. You ideally want to put the ball out and in front, get the wide receiver to run under the football, and the ball was put on Jennings' back, which was right where the defender was. So Jennings had to stop his progress, turn around. Defender was right there. Pass breakup didn't count. So again, and as we've expected, Darnold and Trey pretty efficient in some on the short area passes. Like Darnold was hitting screens. Trey hit I think a screen. He hit I think BA on a short pass. I think he hit Jordan Mason on a short pass. I think the one to BA was a play action. Same thing with Darnold hitting some of the short stuff. One of the best throws of the day for Trey Lance was him hitting Christian McCaffrey. So we finally got Trey Lance completing a pass to Christian McCaffrey. So Trey kind of scanned the field. You could see he was working through his progressions. And then you had, I don't know if it was like a Texas route or something, but you had Christian McCaffrey running over the middle of the field. Trey Lance delivers a dart to Christian McCaffrey for a pretty solid gain. And so we had our first Trey Lance to Christian McCaffrey connection. Trey Lance in move the ball period basically they simulated being backed up on the 1 yard line coming out of their own end zone. He hit Deebo Samuel over the middle on a pass where Deebo beat Fred Warner. He hit another one in an intermediate to Brandon Ayuk. So that's kind of like what the day was. And then, it wasn't, I wanted to see some fireworks today. Again, the last play of the day, it was a phenomenal catch. It was a decent throw. I wouldn't say it was a great throw by any stretch. Again, I thought it was really similar to the Brock Purdy throw. I had a much better view of Trey's throw all the way through, and like I said, it felt like it was going to be an incompletion, but Willie Snead just made a really good play on the ball. Kudos to Trey for going and attacking one-on-one coverage and giving Willie Snead an opportunity to catch it, and that's what practice is for. You want to take those shots all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. You want to see that. That's what you're looking for. And Trey's going to be able to get a good read on that and ideally, get the ball out on front. Wasn't bad. Wasn't great. It was okay. It was good. It was good. But that's what today was, I felt like, for Darnold and Trey. It just felt like who's going to separate, right? Like, who's going to come out here and separate? And didn't see it today. That's really what I was hoping for. And like I said, the energy was kind of down today. Wasn't that great. but it just wasn't the day that I was hoping for, um, at all. Seems like you don't like Trey at all. I don't know why it seems like that. I get this comment quite a bit because I find it interesting when I'm giving an evaluation on something. And for example, today, like I would say Trey's best pass was that throw. Um, there was one to Ayuk over the middle. That was a tough contested catch. And then one to CMC over the middle as well. Outside of that, um, yeah, it was again Mason in the flat, Ayuk in the flat, and there wasn't. I don't know. I don't know why that comes across like I don't like Trey. I like Trey quite a bit. I will be honest though. I don't like people like this. This has been it's funny because if you've rocked with this channel before and you've been with me through this entire summer with us breaking down tape, all this stuff. We've watched all these games. We went back and watched Brock games. We watched two Trey games, I think, or it's two Brock, two Trey. I can't remember. We watched Sam Darnold. I told you exactly how I'm going to go through this training camp and it be evaluating this. And I'm trying my best to just be right down the middle. And each individual quarterback has their own individual evaluation. I'm not comparing these guys to each other like everyone else is. Like with Darnold and Trey, they're actually in a competition with each other. So because they're in a competition with each other, there's more natural comparison because I'm trying to see who separates, who's taking that step forward. And today I didn't see that from either quarterback. And being able to describe to you the plays and the reasons why that I didn't see that separation and it somehow comes across like I don't like Trey at all. I am definitely open to hearing more feedback to why that comes across to you like I don't like Trey. I like Trey quite a bit. I don't need to go down my resume of how much I've supported Trey in the past, how much I've banged the table for Trey Lance to be the starting quarterback as a rookie. Um, None of that. Like, and so that if you say, hey, Trey Lance had a bad throw, if you say, hey, Brock Purdy had a bad throw, it somehow triggers this conversation within the fan base and somehow this projection upon you and your thoughts. Like again, I talked about it earlier. I posted the picture of Willie Snead or that clip of Willie Snead catching it, and I said it's hilariously similar to the throw that Brock Purdy made. Because Brock Purdy, if you look at the operation of the play, both receivers had an upfield outside leverage on their defender. Both defenders were in the back hip pocket. Both receivers on the play had to turn around and fight back towards the football. Both of them made one armed left handed catches with the defender in the right hip pocket. They're both hilariously similar plays. And to watch people use my tweets to like counteract that throw yesterday with this throw today, I'm just like, I'm looking at myself. I'm like, do you guys realize how similar these throws are? The one that everyone was freaking out about, Brock Purdy, um, underthrowing to George Kittle, and then this throw to Willie Snead. It's a perfect example of what fits your narrative the best. What fits your preconceived biases and what you're looking for? Because if you look at both throws and you break down the operation of each throw, the operation is almost identical. Yet you have Trey fans and Brock fans using the same operation to somehow be like, see, see, see. And it's like, And then I point out an observation, and somehow I don't like Trey Lance now. No, I don't like the people who do this thing. I don't like the people who take my things and take my evaluations and use it to somehow one spin it back at me like it's a somehow an attack on this player, because newsflash, not everyone's going to make plays in practice, but that's a problem. This is practice. Everyone's treating this like it's game day. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. But again, it is what it is. I felt like I've been as straight down the middle as I can. Um, yeah, you get it. You get it. So you know what it is. You guys see it out here, and all that type of stuff. Uh, Omar says, so Brock is the starter. Yes, he doesn't have competition with him. No, I feel like the competition is between them, not Darnold and Lance. The competition is clearly between Darnold and Lance. He says, I apologize for coming off in a bad way. We are rooting for the same team. I appreciate that. I definitely do appreciate that. But if there's anything that's been abundantly clear throughout 9 days of training camp, is that Brock Purdy's not in competition with anyone. He's not. And the people who are competing is Sam Darnold and Trey Lance. So Brock Purdy's your starter. And I feel even, and like I said, after yesterday's period of move the ball where he was cooking, I feel even more comfortable that Brock Purdy is going to be the starter moving forward. And they're just trying to figure out, is it going to be Sam or is it going to be Trey? And I think we're going to find out in joint practices. I think we're going to find out in preseason. I think that's really going to be the differentiator here, because they, like I said today, I was hoping someone would stand out from the other, and I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Um, they both really felt the same. Both just a middling practice. It wasn't good by any standards, or it wasn't great by any standards. It wasn't bad, but it's like, I think it's almost a stretch to say it was good. Like it was good practice. Like it was you kind of got to shrug a little bit when you talk about the practice. Like it was good because the energy was bad. They had misses. Misses are going to happen. But it's just kind of like, ugh, ugh. All right. Someone saved me from this quarterback talk, though. That's my take on today's practice. Trey Lance, Sam Darnold. Wished I saw more today. Wished I saw more running with the ones. Wish I saw a separation. I did not see a separation. If anything, it's right where it was, right in the middle. I was tweeting about it. It's going to come down to preference at this point. Who's Kyle's preference at quarterback too? Because I don't see a clear winner. I think, but again, I also tried to preface it in a way. I saw someone say, "Oh well, that's not a good thing that Trey can't beat out Sam." And I was like, "Well, depends on how you're evaluating it, because Sam's coming in here with 55 starts. He's coming in here with some of the he is really top tier arm talent." And Trey Lance, the fact that they're still even, and I'm talking about them being even through 9 practices, I think is actually a positive for Trey Lance. The fact that Trey isn't getting blown out of the water right now by Sam Darnold, a guy who has 55 starts. Trey has 3.5. Like Trey pales in comparison to experience compared to Sam Darnold. And these guys are even right now. That's more of an indictment on Sam Darnold, in my opinion, than it is Trey Lance. Like, I have higher expectations for Sam Darnold because he's a veteran. He's been in the league for longer. He's had real game time experiences and reps. I expect Sam to be ahead of Trey, and they're even. So that's not an indictment on Trey. It actually speaks to Trey's development, Trey's process, and the fact that Trey can still be better, just speaks to we haven't seen the best of Trey Lance yet. We haven't, and we know that he needs reps. He needs an opportunity. I think Trey needs a spot that believes in him. I don't know if this is a spot because they clearly believe in Brock Purdy. So I think Trey needs an environment, and it's if you again if you followed my coverage, the number one thing that I've always said about Trey Lance is build an environment of belief around him. It's the same reason why I said get Jimmy out of here, because you're not going to be able to build an environment of belief, and they haven't done that. So it is what it is at this point. And they got to make a decision. We'll see what that decision is. But again, I haven't seen anyone separate, and that's what I was hoping for today. Wide receiver room, who's getting cut first? Well, this is going to be the first year that there's no like staggered cut day. Everyone gets cut on one day. So that's going to be crazy because it's just going to be a whirlwind of players getting cut at the same time. I will say I've liked what I've seen out of Ronnie Bell. I think Ronnie Bell's definitely shown that he has the potential to be an NFL wide receiver. He definitely doesn't have the pathway towards opportunity right now with the 49ers wide receiver core because Danny Gray has solidified his spot on the roster after starting out really slow in training camp. I was worried for Danny, but Danny Gray has turned it on probably the last 5 or 6 practices. Today, they had a double end around from the two biggest, probably arguably two biggest risers of training camp. It was a handoff to Ty Davis Price, and then it's a double end around. So Danny Gray gets the handoff from TDP, and Danny Gray puts on the burners, hits the edge, goes upfield for a solid 10, 15-yard gain. Danny Gray continues to I don't think Danny Gray's had a drop here in the last couple days. Danny Gray's has made catches in multiple different ways. And I think Danny Gray has solidified his spot for sure. So Danny Gray, Ray McLeod has done enough to solidify his spot. Again, I still think the 49ers are going to keep 4 tight ends because they can't cut Brandon Willis, and they're going to keep Latu. But Kyle's probably going to be terrified of keeping 2 rookies behind Kittle. So they're probably going to keep 4. The 4th is going to be Warner, and they're going to keep 5 wide receivers. So it's going to be, hopefully you get Chris Conley, Willie Snead, Isaiah Winstead, Tay Martin. Like, all these guys are deserving of being on an NFL roster. So that's going to be the crazy part, is which one of these guys end up on another roster, because all of these guys can be the 6th guy in a wide receiver room. So I think they keep 5 wide receivers because of the log jam at tight end. They're for sure going to keep 3 quarterbacks. I don't see how they don't. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out for sure. How's Alfredo Gutierrez doing? You know what? Like, I like Alfredo a lot. I think he's such a great guy to have on the team. And all that kind of stuff. I just don't know if, Alfredo will ever be like an NFL caliber offensive lineman. I really like Alfredo. And I think he'll kind of always have a spot on this squad. But he's big, but I still haven't seen enough. They don't even really play him all that much uh, in practice. So, like, he got his first preseason reps last year. It'll be interesting to see if he gets any reps this year. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. I like Alfredo. I just don't know. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to break through and be a guy that's on a 53-man roster, but you never know. I just haven't seen it sack. I haven't seen it yet. Um, I haven't seen it yet. Let's see. But overall, man, the roster's in good shape. I really do believe that. I think the 49ers right now, again, depth at linebacker, that's going to be a hard cut down day. At linebacker, Deshaun Jameson is really pushing Ambry Thomas right now. They're really talking highly of Deshaun Jameson, the undrafted free agent out of Texas. It really does feel like this could be the guy that pushes Ambry out. So we're gonna find out. I think Samuel Womack has been really good. Isaiah Oliver, I watched him and Juwan go at it today in 1v1s. Juwan got Isaiah Oliver on a really nice rep, but Oliver came back and got Juwan on like a crosser over the middle. But I think there's a shot for Deshaun Jameson to make this roster for sure. For sure. So we'll see. It's going to be a crazy cut down day, though, for sure. Marcelino McCrary Ball has been all over the field. D Winters is starting to ball out. So Orrin Burks is going to be here. It comes down to who's it going to be? Is it going to be Flanagan, Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles? Is it going to be Jalen Graham? Is it going to be Curtis Robinson? Who's going to be that last guy? I think McCrary Ball has to make the roster. That's just how I feel. I feel like he's got to make it. I feel like you might lose him if you let him walk. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Whew. '49ers just dropped another angle of the Willie Snead catch. Just a phenomenal catch. Phenomenal catch. What a catch. So again, today kind of was like that Friday practice. That's what it felt like. It's like, all right, let's get the day off. Let's get out of here. Let's get on the road. Let's get to Vegas. Dwight Clark Day is the last practice that the 49ers will have. So no more training camp after Monday, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, I'm looking forward to it. It's been a grind at training camp, not going to lie. And I'm looking for a little rest period. I'm feeling grinded out by training camp too. So I can only imagine what the boys are gonna do. O-line, Jonathan Feliciano starting at left guard today. He's back from injury. We got Trent Williams playing today. So it was Trent, Feliciano, Brendel, Burford, McKivitz. Drake Jackson would have had a safety today. in move the ball period. They're backed up on the one, trying to come out of their own end zone. Drake Jackson beat Colton McKivitz really good, really fast off the line of scrimmage. And Drake Jackson went out of safety on Trey Lance. Drake and Colton have had quality battles all training camp. I've really enjoyed watching. Drake and Colton feel like they're kind of on a similar level of talent. You notice when Drake goes over against Trent Williams, it's like a different story. Trent just absolutely dominates. But when you get Drake Jackson versus Colton McKivitz, it's definitely a pretty quality battle. It's a quality battle. It goes back and forth. I've enjoyed it quite a bit, so it's been fun to watch. It's been fun to watch, man. But again, I know. So, like, again, it always comes back to these stinking quarterbacks. Everyone wants to know who won the quarterback battle on the day, and again, I feel like I keep coming. I seen people talking about Jimmy Garoppolo today, and like, remember how many games Jimmy Garoppolo won with the 49ers? It wasn't Jimmy that was the reason why they were winning, blah, blah, whatever. And it just all comes back to exactly a potato could be quarterback for this team and lead them deep into the playoffs. So I get it. People are so Team Brock, Team Trey, dunk on Team Brock, dunk on Team Trey, crap all over Sam Darnold. Like, it's just like, just relax. Just chill out a little bit. Let this whole competition play itself out. Let these guys go back and forth. I get it. You want your guy to be good, but at the end of the day, we want all these guys to be good. We need Brock to be good. We need Trey to be good. That would be the best case scenario. Best case scenario right now is Trey Lance beats out Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy gets back plus some. So we want these guys to be competing and getting better and improving. So far, I've seen Brock Purdy improve. I've seen Trey Lance improve. I've seen Sam Darnold get really hot and then cool back down. I've seen Trey get hot, cool back down. I've seen Brock Purdy have inconsistencies, heat back up. So again, it's practice. Practice. We got people freaking out about practice. At the end of the day, I get it, but it's practice. There's got to be a certain after, like, you see something happen, a clip, a highlight, a whatever. I think you have to remind yourself at the end of it, if you start getting emotional about it one way or the other, you're like, it's practice. It's practice. It's okay. Mistakes are supposed to happen in practice. You're supposed to get all that out in practice. You're supposed to fine tune in practice. You're supposed to take your shots in practice. So I thought it's been a pretty quality practice training camp so far. It's when the pads came on, it ramped up super heavy, and it's definitely been like a bit of a decline the last couple days in regards to intensity. But I think this team understands what it is. I think that's like, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, you need to practice to be able to just be tuned up and ready to go, but also at the same time, these guys are professional football players. So they play football for so much of the year. It's like, how often do they need to practice? It's like, it's a double-edged sword. I think you need practice, but also at the same time, maybe I don't know. We'll see. But joint practices are coming up. That's where it's going to really pick up. Joint practices are probably the most impactful practices of the entire off season. That includes OTAs, mini camp, training camp. OTAs joint practices are the best practices. Again, like what I was at Minnesota, I was in Minnesota last year for joint practices. Those battles were legit. They were legit. It gets chippy. These guys are the intensity's up. They're trying to win. They're competing against another team. Joint practices is where it's going to be at. So once we get our final practice on Monday of training camp shuts down, and then the boys are off to Vegas to go see their good pal Jimmy Garoppolo. So maybe tomorrow I'll do a more broader recap of breaking down risers, fallers, ranking certain players, and kind of wrapping up training camp. And we're in preseason range. Believe it or not, the 49ers will be dressed playing a football game next week. Next week on August 13th, or actually basically a week from tomorrow, the 49ers will be dressed playing against the Raiders in Las Vegas for a preseason game. Okay. Oh, I know you guys remember last year's chat after the Texans game. Get ready. Oh boy, I'm gonna need the mod squad. It's gonna be wild in here. Any updates on Bosa? No updates on Bosa. No idea what's going on with that. I'm not worried about it. It's whatever. Like I've out of any contract negotiation, that's probably the one that I've like least been worried about because it's gonna happen. It's just they're dragging their feet. What well, whatever. I don't know. I saw a little bit of DTR. He looks like the real deal. Kellen Mond is hot garbage. I told everyone that after after the Senior Bowl, but some people watched the Senior Bowl game and were like, "Hey, 49ers should draft Kellen Mond in the 3rd round. That would be a good idea." No. Terrible idea. Absolutely garbage idea. Because Kellen Mond is not a I don't even think he's an NFL quarterback. Um, again, no disrespect to Kellen Mond and his family, but based on pure evaluation alone, Kellen Mond ain't it, and he hasn't been it since the jump. DTR stole his job instantly. DTR is a quality player for sure. Um, so I might check in tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But again, shout out to all you guys. Thank you for tapping in and following along for all of training camp this year. It's been a wild training camp. I've never experienced anything like this with the hotly debated quarterbacks and all of it. It's definitely been an experience. Again, this is my 3rd year doing this, and boy, was it a ride. I've never experienced a camp like this. It's been crazy. Glenn says, Brad, I want to thank you for all your coverage and breakdown of training camp. I appreciate your fair take on everything happening and not just the quarterback battle, but looking at all aspects of the team. Looking at quarterback position, do you feel it is better or dipped a bit? First of all, Glenn, thank you very much for that awesome comment. I really do appreciate that. That means a lot to me because your boy has caught in a lot of strays, and it's okay. It's a part of the business. It's a part of the territory. And you know what? It's cool. I think it's been kind of a cool offseason just for the fact that, hey, I don't even care anymore. Before, be like, why is everyone yelling at me? Now I'm like, I don't even care anymore. So I think that's a good thing. Also, too, with the cornerback position, I think the cornerback position's solid. We haven't seen Charvarius Ward practice a whole lot. So we're starting to see Charvarius Ward practice more. Diamador Lenore still looks good. Still looks like a quality cornerback. He definitely looks like a starter. Isaiah Oliver looks good. Samuel Womack looks good, man. I like Samuel Womack a lot. So I think we're going to see more Samuel Womack this year. I think that we're also going to be able to – I think we're going to see Deshaun Jameson. Ambry Thomas has had a rough training camp, but I do think we'll see some Deshaun Jameson. He's been a guy that has definitely stood out and all that type of stuff. But appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the kind comments and everything along the way. Appreciate every time you guys comment and leave some positivity. Positivity is rare these days, to the point where people get mad at positivity. You notice that? People get mad at optimism. People get mad at properly quantifying practice because it's not an end-all be-all situation. Boys, it's been a fun training camp. Shout out to all you guys. Again, I told you what I was going to do. I was going to come in here. I was going to do my best to be right down the middle, and I think I believe I accomplished that. And we got it done. One more training camp left. It'll be on Monday. I'll be there on Dwight Clark Day. And then we'll wrap up year 3 of covering 49ers training camp. Can't believe it. Time flies when you're arguing about quarterbacks. Let's go. Appreciate all you guys. You have a phenomenal weekend. Shout out to you guys for hanging out with me on Saturday. And we'll get after it maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday, definitely Monday. Grab your cookies. Jesus says I get a half a cookie for not being here for the whole stream. Dude, something about Siri. When I say Jesus, Siri just pops up. It's weird. It's getting weird, Siri. Leave me. I didn't even say Siri. Just leave me alone. Shout out to you guys. Smash that like button on your way out. Y'all have a phenomenal rest of your Saturday night. And regardless of which quarterback you root for, just know that the San Francisco 49ers are in a good spot. Just know they're in a good spot right now. They look good. It's going to be a fun season. I promise. So we'll be all right. I'm out of here. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it.